I'd get your break. I see you wearing your seatbelt, but I could say I didn't see you wearing your seatbelt, and I could cite you for seatbelt citation, which is a super low fine and has no points on your license. I'll give you the option of which one you want.
You can see it says, if taken to court, I will drop this ticket.
I didn't intentionally lie. You did intentionally lie, and you sent it to the court. Don't know why you weren't charged criminally. That's a criminal act.
All right, so backing up for a moment, why are we here? DPS terminated Mr. McCluskey for dishonesty and conduct adverse to the department after an investigation into his behavior during 3 traffic stops, with one stop, the cop stop, being the most egregious, the dishonest act, and the disqualifying conduct. The court will see the body cam, and in a moment, I'll briefly explain what happened.
This is the citation that was issued to Mr. Regiba. And you can see it says, if taken to court, I will drop this ticket.
And through the system and through the history and all that stuff, and it comes back clean. The only thing you've ever been stopped for or getting got a warning or a ticket for was tail light or whatever. I know you have a commercial driver's license, you're a commercial driver. If I cite you for being in the left lane when you should be in the right lane, that'll put points on your license.
Oh, really?
I don't want to do that to you. It's a moving violation.
Okay.
But that's what I should be citing you for. I'd get your break. I see you wearing your seatbelt, but I could say I didn't see you wearing your seatbelt, and I could cite you for seatbelt citation, which is a super low fine and has no points on your license. I'll give you the option of which one you want. I know it seems crazy. I have to give you a citation because if I don't, my sergeant's going to chew me out for not writing a citation. I just cut you a warning. He hates when I cut warnings, but I know it sounds sketchy, but I'm giving you the option because you were cool with me. The seatbelt citation is not a moving violation, so it doesn't get reported to the MVD. And it's basically, I believe the seatbelt citation is a $10 citation with no points on your license. I know, but you weren't.
Yeah, no. Can I call my supervisor to see what's not your pay?
I mean, if it gets down to that, then I'll just give you the moving violation. It doesn't matter to me. I don't get any special effort. I don't have a quota for any kind of tickets.
Right.
I'm just trying to look out for you and help you out. So I'm giving you that option. You can either say, yeah, give me the seatbelt ticket, even though I can clearly see that you're in your seatbelt.
Right.
Or you can be like, nah, give me the moving violation. I'm going to fight you in court anyway. That kind of thing. Whichever you decide to do.
I'll take.
I know.
I don't like tickets, man.
You're going to get a ticket. Like that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's your choice on which one you want.
I'll take the seatbelt.
Seatbelt ticket?
Yeah.
All right. That's kind of what I would take too.
Yeah.
Because it's, I know, like again, it sounds like, hey, I'm being punished for something that I'm not doing.
Right.
But really what it is it's still going on the books with me for my sergeant because he reviews everything for the micromanager and the sergeant, which is frustrating.
Gotcha.
And I can be like, hey, yeah, this is how it is.
Okay.
So, and it helps you out in the long run.
All right. Cool.
I'll ask the question again. What issues do you have with that traffic stop?
It still sticks with me every time I hear it. I see you're wearing the seatbelt, but I can say you're not. That's the biggest problem I had with this case, along with he created a false citation. He signed a false citation, and he submitted that citation to the court. And then finally, I don't understand when he tells them, I know it seems like you're being punished for something you didn't do, but that's not the case. That's exactly the case.
Mr. McCluskey knew that was the case.
Correct. In my opinion, he did.
Mr. McCluskey's actions during the stop, dishonest?
Yes.
And were they conduct adverse to the department?
Yes.
Let's now look at Defendant's Exhibit 35. And this is the citation that was issued to Mr. Cobbs. After watching this, did Mr. McCluskey have the necessary reasonable suspicion to issue this citation?
So this is for not wearing a seatbelt. So the answer is no.
By issuing this citation for a violation that did not occur, was that dishonest?
Yes.
And by submitting it to the court, is that submitting a false document to the court?
Yes.
You said earlier that you listened to all recordings, watched all videos, and that included Mr. McCluskey's IA interview.
Correct.
Did Mr. McCluskey admit that he was dishonest in issuing the citation to Mr. Cobbs during the IA interview?
From what I remember, yes.
Do you recall what excuse Mr. McCluskey gave to IA for issuing that citation?
To Mr. Cobb?
Yeah.
I believe he said he wanted to give him a break. He didn't want to affect his livelihood.
Is that a valid reason to falsify a court document?
No.
Is that ever a valid reason to lie?
No.
The Sarkeesian stop, that was technically in timeline before the Cobb stop, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Both of those were on April
Same day,
6th
but early in the morning. Yes.
of 2024.
Yes, on a different area of U.S. or State Route 95.
Sarkeesian is the one with the accent that was speaking to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's the one where you said you were driving past him and you saw it when you were going in opposite directions.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that still your testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
So you saw the vehicle in motion with him and he didn't have the seatbelt on.
Correct.
And with him, you again offered him the choice, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But you understand you can't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Rugabia, which is Defense Exhibit 60, that's the last stop. Is that one also on April 6th?
I do not believe so.
Do you remember what date that one was?
What's the body cam footage say? 19th, April 19th.
So almost 2 weeks later.
Yes, ma'am.
And this stop is where you got confused. You didn't realize the vehicle had to be in motion, right?
Correct.
Now we can't hear what's going on, right?
Correct.
Why?
I muted my body camera.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was making a phone call to another trooper, a commercial motor vehicle enforcement trooper, to verify that seatbelt citations don't put points on CDLs, because I know there's some differences between a CDL and a regular Class D driver's license. I just wanted to verify to make sure that I was correct in that matter. And he did verify that, yeah, no, there's no points.
This is something that has been previously admitted, but you recognize this as the seatbelt citations you did from March to May of 2024?
Correct.
That this came from the IA investigator, right? He pulled like your number of seatbelt stops.
I believe this was in the file that I got to review before my interview.
And of all these 10 stops, only those 3 were the problematic ones, right?
Correct.
And the minor admin, are you able to see like number of traffic stops your troopers are making?
Yeah, that information's accessible to any of us as a squad report. So
Okay. So you can always see how many warnings a particular trooper is issuing, right?
correct. Yeah.
But knowing all of that, you thought termination was too harsh.
Yes, ma'am. During that time frame, I got an email from my bureau, it came down from my captain that, they wanted each trooper to have 10 seatbelt citations. So for my squad now that I was at in Sarah Vista, they're a senior squad. So for me, I was like, go to work. If you get your 10, you get your 10. If you don't, it is what it is. Just go to work. Was it handled probably differently in courtside? I'm not sure. But that's not, for me, that's not the kind of pressure I would put on young troopers.
Why is it not appropriate, in your opinion, to put that kind of pressure on young troopers?
Because they don't want to get in trouble. They're afraid all the time of getting in trouble, of doing something wrong, get you upset.
And what would get them in trouble with the seatbelt issue?
It just depends on that supervisor. If the supervisor said A, B, and C is going to happen if you don't get your seatbelts, young troopers may do something they shouldn't do.
Got it. But do you recall anything that Sergeant Arroyo told you in response to the April instruction to emphasize seatbelts? Do you remember anything?
I do remember, like, if we would not get 10, we were going to have a meeting with the captain and explain ourselves on why we didn't get it.
And that comes from Sergeant Arroyo, or that comes from the email?
From my understanding, I thought it was from Sergeant Arroyo.
So in field training, tell me what you learn about discretion and how to apply it.
That if you see multiple violations, you can cite for 1 or 2 and give breaks on others. In one of my field training scenarios or instances, there was a traffic stop where I pulled over a lady who had expired registration, no insurance. She was speeding, and there was one other violation that I can't remember off the top of my head. So she had a total of, I think, 5 violations. And she was currently going through a divorce, and she was having to move and in custody battle for her kids and just having the world's worst time. And my field trainer at the time told me, instead of citing her for all of these violations, we can cite her for no proof of insurance, because that is a citation that if she does go and get insurance that day, she can submit it to the court and they'll drop the ticket. And I remember telling him, but she's admitted to me that she doesn't have insurance, so that would be kind of a false statement. He goes, no, I know it seems sketchy, but it's not sketchy because she doesn't have the proof of insurance, even though she said she doesn't have insurance, so we can cite it that way. And I said, okay. And so that's what we did for that stop. And that was a lesson of officer discretion that I learned from my field training officer, phase 2 field trainer.
And the word sketchy, I mean, we are going to talk about it. You say that when we're talking to Mr. Cobbs.
Yes, ma'am.
But you learned that it's okay.
That's what he said, yes.
Did you ever check with anybody else if that was okay or if that's like an acceptable practice?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But you had, in your mind there, issued something, even though she said she didn't have it, like you knew it didn't happen.
Yeah, I issued a citation for a violation that did not exist.
So we talked briefly about this, but Sergeant Arroyo was different than Sergeant Copeland.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you, I guess, explain to me just generally how he's different?
The greatest way to, or the clearest way I think, would be our Sergeant Copeland, when I was still fresh out in there, and I would tell him, hey, sir, this happened, so I'm going to do this. He goes, aren't you not a grown man? I go, yes, sir. He goes, then handle your business. If there's any issues, I'll discuss it with you, but you don't need to check in with me on everything that you do. I go, yes, sir. Sergeant Arroyo was, I think of you as my little children, and I need you to check in with me on everything that you do. So that was his first judgment of me before. And he told me at that time that I needed to increase my citations, at least balance the scales and do at least half and half. And I said, okay.
What happened when you would issue a warning?
When I would issue warnings, I would get a lecture from Sergeant Arroyo. He would tell me the same story every time about how one time when he woke up one week and said, I'm just going to give all warnings. I'm not going to give any citations, when he was just a regular patrol trooper. And he did it. And then he got called into his sergeant's office, which at the time was Sergeant Michael McLaren, who was my captain at the time. And how his Sergeant McLaren told him, why are you doing this? This isn't like you. He goes, I just felt like giving all warnings this week. He goes, don't ever do that again. Troopers give citations. We don't give warnings. And so then he would tell me that that has become his mantra from that point forward. And that's what he wants his squad to do, is troopers give citations. They don't give warnings.
Did he compare you to city police officers?
Yes, he said, we are not city police officers. City police officers can give warnings, but troopers, we give citations.
What did you take that to mean?
I needed to give citations and not give warnings. And so give more citations and less warnings. You did good by balancing them. Now I want you to do more.
And that started happening to you in March of 2024?
I believe so.
Was that a problem to you?
It wasn't to me, but it was to my supervisor at the time.
Got it. Which was?
Sergeant Arroyo. He kept giving me a hard time and asking me why I keep getting overtime. And I said, I got civil traffic court. And that's when he said, you need to sell your tickets better, my friend.
So at some point you get more pressure to sell your tickets also?
All the time from Sergeant Arroyo.
What does sell your ticket mean?
Explain it in a way that makes the driver grateful, understanding, and not take you to court.
What was one of the things you started using after that conversation to try to sell your tickets?
To give reduced citations or lesser citations, and to try to create a rapport with the driver, which is something that they try to teach you in the academy. And then that's when I started doing the whole, like, hey, I'll give you the choice. I'll make it easy for you, and I'll give you the choice, which in retrospect, for the record, I do realize that is wrong and an improper procedure. After this 2-year ordeal that I've been going through, I've very much learned that lesson.
You learned that lesson when you talked to Sergeant Arroyo immediately, right?
Yes, in April, I want to say 24th is when I actually had the conversation with Arroyo about the cop stop and the complaint.
And the issue, or roadside.
Plea bargaining.
Yes.
Okay, so today's Monday, September 9th. The time's approximately 10:33 hours. We're at the Highway Patrol Division office. Present is myself, Ken Hunter, badge 4294. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves for the record.
Destin Coleman, badge 4582.
Joshua McCluskey, badge number 11149.
So we're here on IA number 20-24090. So your chain of command all the way through your sergeant up through your lieutenant colonel has recommended that you be terminated from the department for these sustained allegations. So this is really your last meeting with me to give me any mitigating circumstances to why you should be retained by the department. Quite honestly, I am interested to hear what you have to say. Based on, I've watched the videos, I've read the report, I've watched your interviews.
I'm just curious as to why you don't think he should be terminated. So go ahead.
As I stated in my memo that I submitted, the culpable mental state for the dishonesty definition was to knowingly deceive. And I didn't knowingly deceive. I wasn't trying to get away with anything. I believe it's more of an issue in my case of lack of training and understanding. And I believe it was a mistake that I made on my part.
So in this instance, you cited this guy for not wearing a seatbelt when in fact he was wearing a seatbelt. So did you falsify that document? Did you falsify that government ticket? Did you falsify it? Did you lie?
Unintentionally, yes.
Okay, then let's get over this. I didn't intentionally lie. You did intentionally lie. And you sent it to the court. Quite honestly, while I'm looking at this, I don't know why you weren't charged criminally. That's a criminal act. You understand that, right? You cannot falsify government documents or government reports. You were trained that, correct, in the academy?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not going to go that route, but there's only so many instances where I can listen to you weren't dishonest. Yeah, you were. You falsified a government report. You put your name on it when you knew it wasn't true. So that's what the dishonesty is about. It's not about, okay, yeah, I admit it, I did it. And we can play this or not play this, but even when you're talking to him, he even gives you a look, and you look at him and you go, hey, I know it sounds sketchy, but it's not. You knew it was sketchy when you said that, or you wouldn't have said it, or you wouldn't even had that conversation with it. So you absolutely were dishonest. And we can't tolerate that. There's no joy in this whatsoever. But what's more important, I would rather us have to work short staff and keep this department's integrity. Because once the department loses that, the public trust, we're no longer allowed to police them. Sounds like you already had the comments on discretion. Discretion never means you can lie about a ticket and sign your name to it and submit it to a court. That's not discretion, that's dishonesty.
You said in there that Mr. McCluskey could have had criminal allegations based on falsifying that document. Why didn't you do that?
I typically would not, and I recall having a discussion afterwards. I'm very aware of guarantee rights that police officers have, and typically what should happen is if there's an administrative IA investigation going and then they feel that there's a criminal element to it, then you put the IA on administrative hold and then you do the criminal, because you can't use anything in the administrative compelled statements in a criminal case. So at this point, this case was already done and it was being adjudicated. I didn't feel it fair or appropriate in worrying about guarantee and rights that we now conduct a criminal investigation on Mr. McCluskey.
Okay.
You talked about there's a policy at the department when you were there that any sort of dishonesty in an IA is going to be terminable.
I would say it was a policy, but that was the understood discipline.
So there are some specific allegations that are written in policy as you're going to be fired if this happens.
Correct.
And you would agree with me that, well, I don't know if you would agree with me. Would you agree with me that the statute that gives the department the ability to discipline troopers, it says you may discipline up to termination, but you don't have to for dishonesty?
From my memory, I think it does say may, so I would agree with you.
Okay. And do you, I'm sure you don't remember, but you did watch the interview that Mr. McCluskey gave to Internal Affairs back then, right?
Back then, yes.
And you talked about he admitted to dishonesty during that interview.
Correct.
Do you know if he was ever asked, did you knowingly tell this false statement or knowingly issue this citation?
I don't know that.
Okay.
The problem I'm having right now with the questioning is there's nuance to this. You're not allowing any nuance to this. You know, he's trying to say this is cut and dry from my experience as a trooper, as a cop in DC, as a Marine. There's nuance to what you're saying. He's not out beating people on the side of the road and saying that he did it.
Who said that?
No, but
but there's no.
I'm just going to interrupt here. Generally, the attorney asks the question. You answer the question to the
Yes, Your Honor.
Sergeant Copeland, are you aware that in the Cobb stop, Trooper McCluskey, former Trooper McCluskey, said to Mr. Cobbs, "I can see you wearing your seatbelt, but I can just say you're not seen. I didn't see you wearing the seatbelt." You don't think that's something? You don't think that's dishonest?
Yes.
That is dishonest, correct?
Right.
It's textbook dishonesty. True.
Right.
Would you agree that submitting a false citation to the court system is submitting a false document to the courts?
I don't know if it made it to the court system, so I couldn't.
All right, let's just say it did for the purpose of my question. Mr. McCluskey wrote the Cobb citation. He submitted it to the courts. If he did that, did he submit a false document to the courts?
Yes.
Is that dishonest?
Yes.
And the department has the right to treat that as dishonest, correct? And admitting it after the fact doesn't change the fact that it was dishonest the moment you submit it to the courts, right?
Right.
Sergeant Copeland, have you watched the body-worn camera video of the Cobb stop?
Not that I can recall.
And when you, I guess, I just want to exhaust. What exactly have you reviewed? Just the opinion that that you believe his termination was excessive.
Just a binder, doing an interview with the IA and everything else like that.
Are you aware that he admitted to the department with no qualification that yes, I was dishonest?
Yes.
By his own definition?
Yep.
By the dictionary definition?
Yes.
By DPS's policy definition?
Yes.
And I want to clear something up because I don't know if it is clear for the record, but let's make it clear. Are you aware of anyone that had an allegation of dishonesty that was sustained that wasn't at least terminated at the beginning? They might have come back because the court told them to come back or LEMSIC told them to come back, but the department didn't terminate at the beginning.
I'm not aware.
You can't think of one person, right?
No.
If a trooper writes a ticket that they know didn't happen, you agree with me that's dishonest, right?
Yes.
And based on your training, what do you expect to happen to that trooper?
Should be fired.
If a trooper writes a ticket that they know they have no reasonable suspicion for, you agree with me that's dishonest?
Yes, that is.
And based on your training, what do you expect to happen to that trooper?
That trooper should be fired.
Thank you.
A trooper would have to know there's no reasonable suspicion to be fired, right? They have to know what they're doing. That was part of that question.
Yes, if they knew that they were being dishonest.
If they issued a ticket for something that they absolutely know did not happen is the criteria.
Yes.
Do you agree with me that this initial complaint started off, we can see here, it says allegations, commission of any crime classified as a felony?
Yes, it states that.
That's how the allegation came in, right?
Correct.
This is your notice of
Yes.
discipline? And he got 20 hours off for the misuse of property?
Correct.
And then your summary, this one just briefly, it looks like starting here on May 23rd, he used department resources to research driver's licenses and license plates while he was off duty.
Correct.
He used them to research vehicles he was considering purchasing on Facebook Marketplace.
Correct.
And then he also had another detective research if a vehicle was stolen for him.
Correct.
All of your queries are supposed to be law enforcement related, right?
Yes.
And if they're not, it can be a felony offense if you use it for personal reasons, right?
Can be, yes.
That's the commission of a felony.
Correct.
And then it says, in July, IA received case to remove commission of a felony allegation, right?
Yes.
And then it went back for the findings.
Yes.
And then we know, I'm taking you to page 1 of that exhibit, that all that is listed on this closure report is the misuse of state property, right? There's nothing about commission of a felony.
Correct.
Why would commission of a felony not be listed as unfounded or canceled, the other finding options?
I don't know.
Trooper Russell, they tried to explain domestic violence and that it's okay, I guess. I don't know. But that case, the sergeant watched what happened and a deputy watched what happened in terms of egging on the car, which we presented to you. Now, that case was dismissed. He had his time. He got suspended for 40 hours. But what is embarrassing to the department is he was in jail where he arrests people. He was practicing in his community. It was arrested on DPS housing. That is very embarrassing. I do not know how you can argue that that is less embarrassing than what Trooper McCluskey did in cutting drivers a break. And he got 40 hours. But Prieto was a case where he was charged with a criminal violation that he basically admitted to. He admitted to personal use of the criminal database. They took that off his record. They didn't put unfounded. They didn't put canceled. They erased that from the public record and made it misuse of state resources. Criminal activity would get you to post, so he dodged that bullet. And Prieto was going through IA at the very same time as Trooper McCluskey. So they can give breaks when they need to protect themselves. Why did you tell them that your actions in the Cobb stop amounted to dishonesty?
It was about 4 hours long. I was uncomfortable. I was nervous. I was stressed. And I was in the back of my head the whole time I was thinking, I need to be honest. I don't want to lie. And I felt that they backed me into a corner based on the questions that they're asking me, narrowing it down, backing me into a corner. And I said, based on this definition, then yes, it was dishonesty. At the time, that's what I believed. After I got a chance to go home and process and rest and be in a non-stressful environment, I realized that it wasn't dishonesty, because the definition that the department uses in their general order is to knowingly deceive. And the culpable mental state was knowingly. And at no point in time when I was writing the citation for Cobbs was I knowingly intending to deceive. Did I write a ticket that I didn't have probable or reasonable suspicion for? I know that now in retrospect. In hindsight, they say hindsight's 20/20. At the time that I was doing it, I did not know.
Instead, you certified on reasonable grounds that I believe the person named above committed the act described, correct?
That is what the citation says.
And at LEMSIC, you testified the words "I certify" means I am telling the truth, correct?
Yes.
You knowingly chose to offer Mr. Cobbs the seatbelt ticket, right?
Yes.
It was you who made that decision?
Correct.
You knowingly entered a seatbelt violation on the citation, right?
Correct.
You knew you had not observed him without a seatbelt, right?
Correct.
You knowingly signed the citation, correct?
Correct.
You knowingly certified that you had reasonable ground to believe he committed the seatbelt violation, correct?
Correct.
You knowingly submitted the citation to the courts, correct?
I believe so, yes.
But the citation itself does not say that you lacked reasonable suspicion, correct? You agree with me on that?
Correct.
So whatever you had told Mr. Cobbs roadside, anyone later reading the citation would see your certification, not your explanation to Mr. Cobbs, right?
Correct.
All right. Would you agree with me that DPS treated you fair in regards to the Regiba situation?
Yeah.
Because you agree you had no reasonable suspicion to issue that ticket, right?
In hindsight, yeah.
And it's because you didn't see the seatbelt while it was moving.
Correct.
And we both agree the law says you have to have done that.
While the vehicle's in motion, yeah.
And you articulated that to DPS.
Yes.
And what you've read of your own notice of charges, right?
Correct.
There's no indication that anyone's accused you of being dishonest for Regiba.
Correct.
For Cobbs, you had no such explanation, correct?
I don't believe so, no.
And so there was nothing to believe you on. There was no break to give you. There was nothing to do. You were just admitted to being dishonest. Correct?
According to, I can't testify for them what they were doing. I can only say what I know. And so from what I know, no, there was no break to give me. They didn't give me a break.
But the other two, they did.
Correct.
Mark Brachtel, I'll be presenting on behalf of the state.
DPS recused for the record.
Thank you.
This is your matter, right?
Yes.
Did you hear the colonel just recused himself?
Yes.
He sits on the post board, right?
Yes.
Now I want to take you to the discussion on your discipline, because you were disciplined, right?
I was.
What did you get?
12 months retroactive suspension.
When they start that discussion, do you recall Sheriff Schuster? Where's he from?
Mojave County, and yes, I do.
Mr. Chair, Sheriff Schuster.
Sheriff, go ahead.
Thank you. In listening to this, I focus on intent, and I'm thinking about a very young new officer who's been, trying to do the right thing. There was no lying involved. I greatly appreciate Mr. Brachtel and our staff, but I can't see this in the vein of something significant compared to what we've looked at in past cases. So in my opinion, I'm not going to support 18 months. In fact, I'll probably support 0 months, just based on the fact that that this young man is trying to do the right thing. He's early in his career. He didn't try and hide it. Yeah, it's a bad mistake. We get that, and it happens all the time. But I don't think losing a career over something like this is what I'm about anyway. So that's my position, and I just want to share that.
Is that Director Barcelo, Assistant Director Barcelo?
Correct. Yeah.
Where's he from?
He is from the Department of Corrections.
Working the road myself for several years. There is discretion. You made a mistake. Shouldn't have done it. Should have issued a warning. There are supervisors that require, unfortunately, a quota, if you will.
Good afternoon. Where do you work?
I work for the La Paz County Attorney's Office.
What's your job?
Deputy County Attorney.
Did you ever have any issues or concerns with his work ethic or his work abilities?
No, the opposite.
The opposite? You had a good opinion of him?
Yes.
You know what he's accused of, right? Issuing a citation for something he didn't see?
Yes.
Making drivers roadside plea negotiations, right?
Yes, that's what I understand.
Based on that information and based on what you know about him and your experience, do you have any concerns about working with him in the future as a prosecutor, with him as a trooper?
No.
And in your time working in La Paz County, have you encountered any officers that have been previously suspended by Arizona Post?
Yes.
Are they still working?
Yes.
Do you have concerns with them working on your cases?
No.
I don't think I have any other questions for you. Thank you.
Ms. Engel, you were not present for any of the traffic stops at issue in this case, correct?
Correct.
You didn't watch any of the body-worn camera footage?
No, I'm not looking to watch extra body-worn camera footage.
Understood. You didn't review the IA file?
No, sir.
And there might be a circumstance where someone's service record is so great that it does overcome the seriousness of dishonesty, and that red line becomes a pink line. But this is not that case, and there hasn't been such a case. Reasonable suspicion is not a thing that's might have. You either have it or you don't. Probable cause, same way. Anybody who's a police officer knows that. You can't have somewhat of a reasonable suspicion. So by saying I might have not had it, he's saying I didn't have it. And despite that, he wrote a ticket that he knew he shouldn't have wrote. He knew it was dishonest to write. He tells Cobbs it's dishonest to write. He then submits it to the courts. There's no dispute about that. Therefore submitting a false document to the courts. All those are unquestionable acts of dishonesty. And I would just say everyone but Mr. McCluskey seems to know that.
Again, when he learned, he asked to dismiss the ticket. He did dismiss the ticket. The department tells you they're so concerned with these tickets, they let Rugabia plead guilty, and the Sargisian matter is still active in the docket. So if they're so concerned, why didn't they fix it? They are the Department of Public Safety. Just because someone pled guilty doesn't mean they cannot go fix it and remove that from his record if they're so concerned. They're not. Objectively, that would have been done, and it wasn't. We are asking that McCluskey be reinstated because he did not lie. And even if you found that he did, this behavior was correctable, and there is not just cause to terminate him. Thank you.
Thank you. You get some rebuttal.
No, we're done.
You're done?
We're done.
Yeah. Folks, I'm going to take this matter under advisement.